all of us here, we are educated, we are learned, and that's why it's disappointing when we come here saying this in an American city. And I recognize that. I realize that. I realize that. And I take advantage of doing that. But that does not mean that others within Uganda cannot make similar demands in their own ways. But I can just tell by the reaction of the audience that is something that we all appreciate. We all believe that while one individual may indeed have a grand vision, nobody exists on this earth forever. So then what do we do the day after? That is why it's important for us to agitate, to build institutions that endure and outlast individuals. Not only in Uganda, but in Africa. As I started from the beginning, I said this is not a problem peculiar or unique to Uganda. I also appreciate what the minister said in terms of let's take advantage of this opportunity and not just come here and start listing a laundry list of pointing fingers, who did this, who did that, who's bad. That's why I haven't done that. I have just recognized the truth of the matter, which is that we cannot be honest without appreciating that the LRA bears blame for the calamity and the Ugandan government and military also blames. Let's start from that premise and then we'll be able to move forward with some honesty. Sometimes, as people outside Uganda, you feel a bit helpless that you're not able to influence events or conditions in Uganda. In fact, that is completely wrong. You can. In this new media era and environment, with the internet, you can influence a lot of things. And I'll give you just one example. The bill, the Feingold Brownback bill, the so-called Northern Uganda bill. That bill, once it came out, and then I listed all the items that it included, we started agitating. Particularly, we appreciate the part that calls for reconstruction and devotes money to that. But we completely rejected the part of that bill that gives the United States the opportunity to team up with the Ugandan military to go after the LRA. Can that be a solution? What would the US add to that dimension that the Ugandan military was not able to do in 23 years? So we reject that segment of this bill completely and absolutely. And if anybody is willing to sign that petition, make sure you note that on the petition as well. Otherwise, don't sign the petition until that segment, which refers to military collaboration, is removed. My final second example. In terms of, we're reading a lot of stories about land issue and land grabs in the Acholi part of Uganda, not northern Uganda. What is the solution? Do we feel completely impotent and helpless when faced with these powerful multinational oil companies? No. Have we forgotten the ruling in a recent case in a New York court when Shell settled with Nigerian activists for $15 million for their collusion and collaboration with the oppression in the Delta region of Nigeria? The law is called the Alien Tort Statute and is being applied very effectively in the United States right now. I have an article here from the Wall Street Journal that explains exactly how people in countries such as Uganda can apply the same law to make sure that corporations that collude with any government, including in Uganda, regarding the oppression of the indigenous people, can come to United States court and make a legitimate claim. I made copies of this article, maybe not enough for everybody, but please feel free to share it with your comrades. Thank you for my time.